Noticed a lot of these videos around the internet today. The whole Walking Dead predictions. Who's going to survive tonight? Who's not going to survive? I love McFarlane's Walking Dead figures. Carol and Gwen, the family, got me the Daryl Dixon 10-inch figure. And it's just phenomenal. He has amazing sculptors and artists, and then I just recently I got lucky at Toys R Us, and right before Gwen's birthday, and they had the Daryl Dixon with the motorcycle box figure. So Gwen got one for her birthday, and there was two on the shelf. So I got one for my late birthday. Nonetheless, so The Walking Dead. I read the comics starting about a year, 2 years ago. Probably in like season 2, I started reading all the comics. I started right at issue 1, and I read right up to like, I think at the time it was like in the 80s or the 90s. Like, but I mean, we're talking like 2 days, maybe 3 days. I read all of them. I was just like eating it up. I really liked it a lot. And then I started, I believe, watching the show after that. Because we went back and we were able to watch season 1 and most of season 2 before it had gone on hiatus for however many months it is. And so the comic, I mean, did so much. Like, it was just, the comic, alright, I love the show. It's probably my favorite show right now on TV. That or Family Guy. That's honestly what it comes down to. It's Always Sunny's a close third, though. And so, watching the show, the first season, I think, was almost dead on. You know, it had its differences, obviously. You know, Daryl and Merle aren't in the... Let me just say this. There's gonna be, if you like Walking Dead and you haven't read the comics and you intend on it, there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. So I hope that doesn't deter you from watching this video, because I don't want to ruin it. Either that, or you can go read them right now and I'll just wait. I do this. I'll just wait. I'm that patient. Just pause it and I'll wait until you're done, and then we'll pick up. Wow, that took a while, huh? No. That goes for all the people that actually paused it out there and read them and then came back. If you really did that, wow. Good for you. Anyway, the comic is way better than the show, I think. Now, I like them both equally for some reasons. The storytelling. But I like that the comic is like the ultimate canon, and it's also it's just so well written. Like, not that the show isn't, but like those ideas that, especially in the first season and, you know, right into this season, things that have happened, like, have happened. Some of them happened in the comic. You probably know if you have read them, and some of them have not. There's characters in the show like Daryl and Merle that weren't in the comics. Although I've heard they're intending on possibly introducing them. That could be interesting for the book. There's supposedly a big twist coming up pretty soon. Be interesting if that was the twist. So yeah, I've read up to the current issue. No, I haven't. I haven't read the latest issue of the Walking Dead comic, but I have read all of it up to now. And so tonight, everybody's talking about Terminus, and this isn't giving anything away, I don't think. It being a place for cannibals, and people are crazy there or whatever. I don't know all the theories going around. However, that seems to be the general idea, that Beth is probably being cooked, which I don't think the last time we saw Beth would be the last time you see her on screen talking, at least. I'm not saying she's going to survive the episode, but it wouldn't surprise me if she lost a limb, kind of like her dad did. Now, if you relate to the comics, the reason why people are coming up with this theory, and it's not just out of the blue. Dale gets bitten on the leg in the comic. Him and Andrea are together in the comics, and then they cut his leg off, and they save him. So in the show, Herschel obviously had his leg cut off. In the comic, it was Dale. Now, they go to the prison, everything happens, and they get separated, kind of like on the show. And Dale, I believe, gets bitten again. It never shows this happen, but he ends up at this house, and you don't know what happens to him. And then they go looking for him. They find this house, and they find Dale, and now Dale's missing 2 legs, and he's laughing. Well, they've eaten his other leg. They're cannibals. And what he didn't tell them is that he had been bitten, so he was infected. Now, I don't know if eating infected flesh actually would give you the virus or increase your chances of death from it. But that was the end of Dale in the comic. And actually in the comic, I guess it's not related to tonight's episode. So if Terminus is that, then they've really kind of rewritten it. I would love. Greg Miller had a great theory that, well, he said they might just throw Negan in there and, really just shake things up and change the timeline of the comic versus the show. Negan's a real bad guy. He's no governor. Like, he's not like the governor, but he's just as bad in his own way. And in the comic, one of the only characters still remaining from, like, the first issue up until now, bad things happen to him. Really bad things in the comic. So that character's still on the show as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. Okay, so Daryl. I want to tackle this. This is the only one I don't know where this is going. Like, I have no doubt that he's going to stick with Rick. Like, when it comes down to it, he's going to be like, no, you can't kill this guy. This is my friend, da-da-da-da. I think at that point, the people of Terminus are going to intervene in this. That's my thought. They're going to take out Joe's gang and prep them to be eaten or something like that. Andrew Lincoln, the guy that plays Rick, basically, he said that there's a huge cliffhanger this season, and that the last line of the episode is going to be the thing that just makes you wait until next season, or you can't wait. I mean, who's not going to not wait anyway? It's the highest rated show in like AMC history or something like that. Anywho, if you want me to tell you who I think's going to make it out and who's not making it out, and I have a very clear idea as of my opinion on this. Why the start button is no longer necessary. That's an interesting statement, because I miss my start button on the PS4. Okay, The Walking Dead season finale for tonight. These are the list of characters that are on the show, and they're taking votes on who's going to make it and who isn't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the results thus. Oh, I guess I shouldn't. Oh, I got to stay off the internet. After this, I am off the internet. Okay. So they've got them listed. I assume this is by popularity, actually, because it's not alphabetical. It's just no. Okay, let's start with Rick. All right. So Rick, in my opinion, he's probably gonna make it. However, this is the wild card with Rick. Daryl is the wild card. People, fans of the show, are way into Daryl, and they would probably rather see Rick get knocked off than Daryl. But if the show is unable to knock off one of its bigger stars, like, you lose that shock value, I think. Because we all know that most of the other cast is probably going to get wiped out at some point or another. It's why they've been developed over seasons. And every season they introduce a few new characters that make it to the next season. And then you start to know Tyrese, Sasha, Tara, now you're getting introduced to Abraham and Eugene and Rosalita. So the ones that you met in the first and second and third season are probably going to start dying off to take the places of the people that you met in like the third and fourth season that survived. I think this is the formula they're following to always keep it fresh and always keep it exciting. And one day, I think they're going to kill either Rick or Daryl. Now, I like Andrew Lincoln. I think that's his name. He's a great, phenomenal actor. But I like Daryl just as equally. The character I prefer would be Daryl. I think he's he's cool. He's the anti-hero, more so than Rick. And so I just wonder if that's going to happen, I mean, eventually either that or somebody's going to offer Norman Reedus money to go do a movie or something that he can't turn down. So there's your wild card on Rick. I'm going to go through these much quicker now because, I mean, I don't know if anybody gives a crap about Walking Dead that's watching this. So Rick is at 6.99%. We got Daryl at 6.44%. So, like I said, I can't see them killing Daryl. The only way they would do it is if he's been offered something else as an actor, or he dies like saving someone else, like Carol or Beth or something. I don't know. Okay, Carl. I don't think you're going to see Carl die anytime soon. It would be shocking. I mean, they do things to him in the comic that are pretty bad, to the point where, like, it would be worthwhile to do those things on the show, which I heard is pretty much a big shocker you wouldn't expect. Pretty violent at the end of the show tonight. So Carl, I think he makes it through tonight. Michonne, she's still the silent, deadly character, but she's kind of come out of her shell. Still, I don't think you're going to see her die. Glenn, if you see Negan, he better be running. That's all I got to say. Because, what's the name of his barbed wire covered baseball bat? Lucille. Maggie, I give her a 75% chance of making it out of the episode. So, oh yeah, by the way, Carl's at 5.18, Michonne's at 2.79, Glenn's at 8.35, Maggie's at 7.44. Mind you, the highest is like 22% on one of these. Tara, I could definitely see her. Now, they've only got her at 2.42% votes. I can almost guarantee she's not going to make it much longer. She may make it to the next season, but she's not going to make it to the end of the next season. Abraham, Rosalita, Eugene, I could see Rosita getting killed off next season maybe, but the other two, I see them surviving for a while. Although, Abraham in the comics, like I said, there's spoilers here. He takes an arrow through the back of the head. He doesn't make it. Okay, Maggie 7.44, Tara 2.42, Abraham 0.69%, Rosita 0.89. It would be pointless to kill her or any of these guys off. They just introduced him. 2.02, although it would be shocking because you wouldn't expect it. Beth at 13.61%. Her character's really made a turnaround in my opinion because she was lame. She tried to kill herself. She was kind of crazy for a little while in the prison, and then she came unto herself as a character, and yikes. I'd say she's got a 33% chance to make it out of the end of this episode. I hate to say it, but Carol, she's at 7.12%. Now, Carol in the comics, once again, spoilers, she literally walks up and hugs a zombie that they've chained to the ground in the prison. I can't remember what, if it was the loss of a family member or something like that. I can't remember in the comic, but she just goes up and just hugs it, and that zombie obviously tears right into her, turns her into a zombie almost immediately. That's one of the first deaths that it was just like, holy shit, that was fast. Carol, I'm going to give her about a 60% chance of making it out of the episode. I think her chances are good. Like, her character still has story in her, and I'd like to see a little bit more not action, but reaction between her and Daryl. Decide if that's ever intended to go anywhere or not. Okay, Tyrese at 4.13. In the comic, he's already dead. So his days are numbered, but I would say he makes it through. Maybe next season, at the finale, he doesn't make it out of. But I think he's got a good chance tonight. I'd say he's got a 90% chance of survival. We're going to reduce that to 85. Judith, 1.97. In the comic, as you know, Lori takes a bullet through the back when she's holding the baby, and she falls on the baby. I don't know if a bullet or her kills the baby, but Judith is so brutal. I remember reading that and just being like, I don't know if I can read this comic anymore. I really felt that way. I was like, this is I wonder if this person has kids, like, because I couldn't write something like that, I don't think. Judith, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, she's always going to hold the whole group back. Like, they're always going to need to find one more thing for her because she's so young. For at least the first few years of her life. Unless they decide to advance the show like a year or two this season, I'd say she doesn't stand much of a chance. She cries, so zombies hear her. She requires certain things like diapers and stuff that right now are not easy to get a hold of. The writers have to keep thinking about that. Either they throw her in the background like they do with most shows, and that's a huge disappointment because it's a cop-out, I think, or they do her out. They get rid of her. I don't want to see that on the show because that's going to make me not feel good. However, I think it needs to be done. I think it's somehow, maybe someone takes care of her or something, and I guess I just put her in the background. Sasha, oh, you're done. You're so done. You're one of my top, 5 to die tonight. I see you meeting back with Tyrese so that you both know that you survived. Hang on a second. Wait, I'm almost done in here. I'll, So, yeah. No chance in hell, I don't think. I'd say she has about a 7% chance. So, if that's the chance of getting out of hell, I'd give her about 7. Bob, love you, Bob. Nice to see you came around. Oh, now Sasha's at 2.31 and Bob's at 4.49. Bob, I think you've come to the end. I cannot see any way you make it out at the end of this episode. But you did have that whole you and Sasha getting to know each other and like each other and stuff. So, for your sake, I hope my 2% chance of you getting out the episode is wrong. And the last two is Joe at 1.18. He's the leader of the Claimers. I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it out of the episode. I'd say 1.18 is a good chance that he's going to survive. Unless things go differently with him and Daryl and Rick. But any or all of Joe's gang is at 21.97%, and I agree with that. I think the true colors of Terminus are going to show through, and they're going to attack or eat or do something to these people. So that's my thoughts on tonight's episode. I can't tell you what I think the major cliffhanger is because I really don't know. I have no idea. They said there's a gory scene in this that goes beyond, and I'd have to say it's probably just something you don't want to see happen to a character that you like or something. And that's another thing too. Will Rick keep his hand throughout the entire series, or is he going to lose it? If you have any thoughts on that, put them in the comments below. I'd like to hear some personal comments from people that I know. So that's my predictions. It is now 10:09, so should be available for me to watch. So wish me luck, and this is probably it for the night. So go make somebody smile.